how hard is it to build orbital data centers actually?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How many data center companies have we had on this show? 1, 2, 3, 4,
Like
I think.
that. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
We haven't had anyone from SpaceX on the show yet. I'm hoping someday.
I'm going to toss something in there that's not in our news, but I saw an article yesterday, day before, that an organization, I'm sorry, I can't remember who it is, but an organization is petitioning to the EPA to stop the FCC, FAA to stop data centers from going into the sky until a complete environmental impact assessment has been done.
Okay. Well, you know what?
That is brand new, and they haven't had a ruling on it, but they got press out of the idea that says we need to do environmental impact studies of all the stuff that's going into the sky. That's the first time I've seen that. I was pretty freaked out about that.
You know, they didn't mention the orbiting mirrors that we talked about.
They didn't. No, they
just the other day.
Right. Yeah. That one I would think would deserve
that's
environmental impact.
Light pollution.
Yeah. No, this was direct. And I wondered about that. Like, why wouldn't they think about the environment of Leo? But no, they're specifically we're going after data centers. They're specifically going after SpaceX and 1 million data satellites specifically. But yeah, how hard is this? Let's go back to Ars Technica and Eric Berger. Yeah, I don't have an answer to that, but yeah, SpaceX has pinned the bulk of their future value on orbital data centers, not rockets and not spacecraft. That's the first line of the article. It's a good article.
But then Elon says in some video, reflecting on the challenge of it all, is that he's saying a lot of the technology they've already made for Starlink V3.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think it's a super hard problem.
Right.
But it sparked a broad debate about the near-term viability of this technology, both in terms of feasibility and whether it's all hype. The SpaceX is a publicly traded company now.
Yeah. I mean, they're saying no big deal, right? I mean, their application is for 1 million satellites. Gwen Shotwell reduced it down to 100,000 to start, and that seems probably pretty realistic. You know, one is their hype machine, and the other is their let's just focus on what's in front of us, right? You know, the difference between Shotwell and Musk, but yeah, it doesn't seem super hard. Like everybody that we talked to, you know, we talked about this 9 months ago and 6 months ago and 3 months ago, and a year ago, people were like, it can't be done. It's too hard. The thermal problems are too big. And now if you take SpaceX's word for it, it's a done deal. Like what's the problem? So I don't have the math for it then. I didn't.
It is a long article. I don't want to go TLDR on this, but it's still, but we can break it down to 3 points. You've got an optimistic, a neutral, and a pessimistic point of view on this.
Right.
Mostly because of the heat. The optimistic view is that the Starship payload capacity of 200 metric tons, the AI-1 satellite mass of 3.5 tons, and the launch cost of $20 million, and it's supposed to put out, this big, solar farm. It's about the size of 1.5 basketball courts. So, okay. The neutral view is a Starship payload capacity of 150 metric tons and AI-1 satellite mass of 5.5 tons and a launch cost of $50 million. The downer point of view, the Debbie Downer view is that Starship payload capacity ends up only being 100 metric tons and the satellite mass is 7.5. and the launch cost is up to 100 million. And each of these satellites is only supposed to last for 7 years.
Say that last part again. You cut out. What's
I'm
about?
sorry. The SpaceX likely plans for each satellite to last only 5 to 7 years before they move it to a heliocentric disposal orbit or burn it up in the atmosphere. A 5-year lifetime, putting a 1 million satellite constellation into orbit and then replenishing it. And I know we've mentioned this. That would be thousands of launches per year.
Right. We've talked about that a bunch. The multiple launch sites, multiple launch facilities, many launches a day. Right.
Yep. Right. The optimistic view, it's only 17,500 total launches. That's the optimistic view. The neutral view, 37,000 launches, and the pessimistic view, 77,000 total launches. But you have to do 15,000 per year to keep up with it.
Yikes.
All this so an AI can track what you eat for dinner and how much gas you burn and then tell you not to do it.
Right. These are crazy numbers, right? It's just kind of boggling just see them written down like this. But we haven't talked about it much on the show yet, but SpaceX has officially stopped selling rocket launches in 2029. They're not selling them on the Falcon anymore. So they'll finish out the inventory that they've got. Nobody's getting turned away, but they're officially not accepting new clients, which is kind of an existential crisis for an awful lot of companies that built their other businesses on the backbone of the SpaceX launch capacity. And this is why, right? This is why they are full if they have to do 15,000, 17,000, 37,000 launches.
Right. And right now they are, in fact, building their launch facility at the Cape. That at KSC, they are building something. They're renovating an old pad, but they're only going to launch Starships and Falcon Heavies from it.
Right. What do you think the world looks like if this is the quote from Eric? Even in the best case scenario, that's 10 launches a day. Worst case is 42 launches a day. That's not counting China. That's not counting Rocket Lab. That's not counting Blue Origin or any of the European companies coming online. That's not counting India or Asia. What does the world look like if you're launching 10 or 20 or 30 or 40 or 100 launches a day?
Well,
because I've never imagined that.
What is that upper limit whereby there's so much space junk that you just can't punch through it anymore?
Right? Yeah.
What is that called? It begins with a K, I think.
The Kessler syndrome breaks apart. Kessler syndrome?
Yeah, something like that. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. You're going to approach that, and these are working satellites. But you put that many up there, sooner or later, things they're going to bang into each other.
Right. Do you remember that movie Gattaca? And they were doing all this genetic. So you would see these launches like clockwork about every 2 hours launching in the background of that movie. And I'm like, that's the dumbest thing in science fiction. I love that movie, but that's the dumbest thing in science fiction, the idea that we're launching every 2 hours. And these predictions with these data centers, that's on the low side.
Well, you know what, though? When Gattaca was made, that was probably considered really high end. It'd take us forever to get to a launch every 2 hours.
Yeah.
That was their view. So,
Yeah.
A lot of things you just can't guess until it's too late.
Right. No, it's pretty cool. All right, let's take a look at some of our comments here because we got a bunch. Of course, Morty's like, we need space elevators.
We need space elevators. Absolutely.
Absolutely. Joe is like 15,000 launches. What's the problem? 42 a day. This one's cool from Dallas. If you watch the SpaceX critical path video, they say Pad 2 is designed for a launch an hour forever.
Mm-hmm.
Let that sink in for a second. One launch pad dedicated to hourly missions. That's the world that we have been dreaming about since we were little kids. So
yeah.
All right. We don't
know what long-term environmental effect. If you're launching that many rockets every day or even more,
right?
Do we end up clouding things up so much we get global cooling?
I don't think that's how it works, Tom. Just saying.
Yeah, Sierra Club's gonna have to shut up for a while, because it's not.
Yeah, I don't.
Because nothing's warming up.
Right. I don't think that's how it works exactly. I'm just gonna leave it at that.
Well, you see a business cleaning up messes like the movie Space Sweepers. Those businesses are going to have to exist. They're going to have to be necessary. There's going to be a dozen of them competing.
I'm counting on
recycle the junk.
We talked about that a couple weeks ago, and that guest that we had on a couple weeks before that about just, and I'm being sarcastic, but vacuuming up the vacuum, pulling in all the debris, turning it into a scrap yard, and then melting it down to slag. So I'm excited for that business.
Yeah.
We get Venus. Yeah, we'll just move it all to Venus. All right.